Om Shri Sai Ram. So today we are looking at Gita Vahini chapter 17 Sai Ram. So we have four topics in the chapter. The first is remembering God at death. Second is two types of liberation. And the third is four roads to moksha. And the fourth one is the auspicious times to pass away. So again, when we look at this chapter, Swami again emphasizes for the fourth or the fifth time how to remember God at death at the point of time of when the soul leaves the body. And Swami here he talks about two types of liberation and the four ways by which we can attain liberation. And then Swami talks about the auspicious times when we can pass away. And uh, this chapter is like a continuation of last chapter when Swami talked about again how to we have to practice systematically so that we can get the merit of chanting Om at the last moment of our breath. And again, Swami here emphasizes the same thing. So Swami says, whoever is busy with no other thoughts than those about me, whoever is ever remembering me, that person will certainly release their dying breath through the center of their head. That person will attain me. Swami again says that one who is constantly remembering God will always will like most certainly they'll die with the thought of God. And Swami says that they leave their soul through the center of the head. That is the Sahasrara chakra that we talk about. So that is how ideally a person should pass away, and that is the way to attain God. And Swami says, I am as near to people as they are to me. My dear Arjuna, how can I forget the one who never forgets me? Forgetting is a human frailty, not a characteristic of God, let me tell you. There is no need for yoga or spiritual practice or even wisdom. It does not matter whether you give these up because you are too weak or whether, in spite of having the strength, you do not feel like struggling to master these. I do not ask for the yoga of or spiritual exercise. I only ask that your mind be fixed on me. Devote your mind to me, dedicate it to me. That is all I ask for. So Swami again says that there is no need for yoga or even spiritual practices. So only we should not try to go for other spiritual exercises, forgetting the essential point, that is contemplation on God. And so if we do all these spiritual practices and again we forget that, again there is no point in that. So Swami says, devote your mind to me and dedicate it to me. Like he says, man mana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. The same thing he repeats here. So he says, if a spiritual aspirant cannot do at least this act of dedication to the Lord, I wonder what their spiritual discipline is capable of. If you plead that you don't have the strength of mind, I ask where the strength comes from to dedicate yourself as you do now to hollow ideals, the vain fantasies of family, fortune, and fame. Can't you direct this strength for that supreme dedication? So here Swami says, Swami like says before Arjuna gets the doubt, saying that I don't have the strength of mind, so how can I get the strength of mind? Swami says, now you are talking about family, fortune, fame, and you are following these pointless ideals in life. So can why don't you direct this kind of a dedication to these ideals to that of the supreme dedication of devoting your mind to the Lord? Then Swami says people easily offer all their offer their all to poisonous objective pleasures, but they squirm and protest as if a mountain is tumbling on them when the call is made to dedicate their thoughts, feelings, and acts to the Almighty. In their eyes, salvation is as cheap and easy to attain as the greens in the vegetable market. They seek to escape from bondage as easily as that. They do not earn much, but they desire to earn much in the spiritual field. So they are sunk more in dullness, tamas, than in spiritual penance, tapas. But they wish for the fruits that only spiritual penance can offer. So here Swami also says that people easily fall for these kind of pointless things in life, but if we have to dedicate ourselves to the Lord, to the supreme trying to attain that the last moment, the remembering God at the last moment, when we want to do when we are asked to do an exercise towards that, then we feel that this is like a heavy burden and this is something impossible, or this is like a mountain load. But Swami says uh, the reason for this is people seek everything like in a shorter period of time or without much effort, something like an instant kind of thing that people want these days. So he says that salvation is something as cheap and as easy to attain, like something in the vegetable. We are trying to get vegetables from the market. So Swami says people don't want to do much, but they aspire to get so much even without doing. So such kind of attitude will not help in actually trying to attain this goal. So those who are prompted by genuine desire for the fruit must overcome all obstacles and temptations, doubts and disappointments, and dwell on the thought of the Lord. Then the Lord will not keep apart. He will confer on that aspirant the status of the sameness described as I am divine, you are I, we are one, Aham Brahmasmi. And the aspirant will be contemplating this unity without a break. So here Swami says that people who are actually have that yearning, that YEARN yearning, who actually have the desire to understand the Lord and sit in contemplation of the Lord, and such people, Swami says that he will not keep the goal away from them, and he will actually confer on them what is actually required. And Swami says that he'll give them the knowledge that they are divine, and you and I are one, or the same as Aham Brahmasmi or Tat Tvam Asi. Those kind of the spiritual knowledge will be granted by Swami, and that kind of an experience when such a spiritual aspirant gets, so they will be constantly thinking about that, and they will be contemplating on that unity with God, union with God. So then after that, Arjuna asks, you say that this thinking only of the Supreme Spirit, this one-pointed devotion, is quite easy and there is no need to take any greater trouble. But you also declare that those who are for those who have acquired it, you are readily attainable. Well, what exactly is the benefit of attaining you? So Arjuna asks a very bold question to Lord Krishna here. He says that you're saying that this is easy to practice, and also for people who actually practice and acquire this, you are actually easily attainable. Like when we remember God at death, we can easily attain God. So what actually happens when we attain you? So Krishna smiled at this and replied, Arjuna, what greater benefit is there than that? The holy victory makes a mortal a great soul, Mahatma. You may still pose the question of what benefit is it to become a great soul? Listen, the great soul is far superior to the ordinary person. The latter is established in the body and the soul. The latter is established in the body and the soul, Jiva. The latter identifies with the body and with breath, and with the particular, the wave. So the ordinary person is tossed about by joy and grief and rises or falls with each experience. Between snatches of calm and storm, the ordinary person reels under many a blow. So here Swami says, if you attain me, then if you are no longer an ordinary mortal, but you are a Mahatma. So again, Swami asks the next question that Arjuna might come to ask, saying that what is the point of being a Mahatma again? So here Swami says a Mahatma is far superior to the ordinary person, and he is actually established in the soul. And the Mahatma is actually established in the soul, but the ordinary person is established in the body. So the person who identifies with the body actually goes along with the experience of the body, that is joy and grief, and so he's actually elated at joys, and then he's depressed at the sorrows. So that kind of a pendulum kind of experience he feels. But so that kind of chaotic and a very tiring experience is actually what the ordinary person goes through. But if you are a Mahatma, then you are actually beyond that. You are no longer affected by the joys and the sorrows that the ordinary person sees. So here he continues, the great soul is free from all dual experience. and he is above and beyond. The great soul has released itself from the identity with the particularized and is in the universal, the eternal, the changeless, and he is absorbed in the Brahman and not the body. The great soul knows that the Atma is not a limited entity and feels that it extends beyond all limits. So here Swami again, he says that the great soul is actually free from everything. The Mahatma is actually something that does not identify with the material world, and he is actually located in the spiritual or the supreme or the eternal soul, that is which is the changeless and the Brahman. And the great soul knows that the Atma is not limited to the body, and it has no limits and it has no characteristics that we already talked about. So the great soul is actually the kind of the person who is actually realized. And Swami also says that the great soul is free from the blemish of dullness or tamas and passion or rajas, and is neither dull nor driven about by desire. Just a minute, Saira. Okay, and not driven about by desire. The great soul's pure consciousness is unaffected by attachment or hate. Many who style themselves as such nowadays have no purity in their hearts. Their consciousness is soiled by foulness, but the pure in heart have no further birth and death. So here again, Swami says that rajas and tamas, the quality of indolence and the quality of activity, the passionate activity, both does not affect the one who is the great soul, and he's free of that kind of activities. And Swami also says that they are actually not affected by raga or dvesha, that is the attachment or hate. And people, and also Swami says again, he talks about imposters of every kind. He says that people who actually call themselves to be great soul and people who claim to be unaffected by tamas or rajas or hatred or attachment, but they have no purity in their hearts as such, and they actually haven't taken any kind of effort, but they're just like again repeating like a parrot saying that I am a realized soul. So he says their consciousness is also soiled by foulness, but Swami says those who are actually pure in heart have no further birth and death. They are under no obligation to appear again on earth. Without attaining that purity, you cannot escape the round of birth and death. However many your meritorious deeds, however high your spiritual status, however glorious the heaven you may have secured. So here Swami says, unless we are that kind of a pure individual, that is the Mahatma, we cannot, there is no way to escape the cycle of birth and death. The Bhava Sagra cannot be crossed unless we realize that. And despite how much spiritual practices we go through, like yoga and the dhyana meditation that Swami talked about, that kind of practices should yield the result of us being the realized souls. But if we don't attain that, again there is no way to escape the round of birth and death. And however high our spiritual status may be, or however even if we secure any heaven, that is of no use, is what Swami says. And he also says that only those who are perpetually absorbed in Brahman can attain this timeless me and be freed from the chain by merging in me. So at this, Arjuna gave expression to another doubt that worried him. He asked, if that is so, why do the Upanishads declare that those who reach heaven need not be born again? Please clarify exactly who is freed from the cycle of birth and death. So here Arjuna asks a very poignant question. He asks that if you say that people who are not constantly contemplating on the Supreme Lord cannot reach the Lord, that is, cannot be freed from the cycle of birth and death, Arjuna asks, he says that he quotes the Upanishad saying that people who actually reach heaven cannot be born again. So you are saying that one needs to go step by step and go through every practice and every kind of ritual so that they can be realized souls and they can sit in contemplation of God and they can remember Om, or they can remember God at the point of death, and then finally they need not be born again. But people who have attained heaven also go through the same thing, right? Please clarify the difference between people who attain heaven and people who are actually liberated by contemplating on God at the last moment. So to this, Swami gives the beautiful explanation of two kinds of liberation that is mentioned in the Upanishads. So he says, Arjuna, there are two kinds of liberation which are mentioned in the Upanishads. Liberation on the spot, Sadhyo Mukti, and liberation by stages, which is Krama Mukti. So, liberation on the spot is also referred to as absolute unity with the Supreme Spirit or Kaivalya Mukti. For yearning this, no one need to aspire to any heaven. They get this on the spot and not by stages, which is step by step. Liberation secured thus is a possession forever. Only those who attain absolute liberation, Kaivalya, merge and become one with the eternal and the universal. The other kind of liberation is liable to change. When the effect of the acquired merit wears out, heaven has to be given up, and life on earth starts anew. Such souls, no merging. So here Swami says that there are two types of mukti, which is one is on the spot liberation and liberation by stages. So the Swami says, if you are like you are at absolute unity with the Supreme Spirit, that is Kaivalya Mukti or absolute liberation. Krama Mukti is Sadhyo Mukti is something that is liberation on the spot. So Swami says, if you attain heaven, and that kind of a mukti will only exist as much as the meritorious deeds that you have. That is, once all the merit that we have acquired runs out, we'll no longer have a place in heaven, and we'll have to come back to earth, and we have to take another birth. So such kind of a soul cannot actually merge with the Supreme Spirit or this Paramatma. So I think even our Bhagavan Shri Satya Sai Baba has mentioned about this. People who are in heaven actually don't have the good fortune of that we as Manushas on the earth have. That is, we still have the ability to attain oneness with the Lord, but those people have to go through even a little bit more. That is what again Swami says here. Such people have to come back on earth, and then they have to start everything new, and then after that only by stage they can reach the Lord. That is through constant contemplation, and there is no like what Swami essentially says is there is no other way than constant contemplation. And if we try to look for a shortcut, then that will not be the permanent solution. That will just be temporary solution. So again, Arjuna asks, that is to say, the souls that attain absolute unity, liberation, are destroyed, right? Or is there any difference between merging laya and destruction, nasha? So here Arjuna asks, so does souls get destroyed on like when they merge with you? Is there a difference between laya or nasha? Nasha is again like being destroyed or killed, something like that. So Swami gives an explanation again, saying, no Partha, merging is not destruction. Merging happens when it becomes invisible. That is what happens when a thing is destroyed. It becomes invisible. We cannot see it anymore. So here Swami says, merging is not destruction, but it is actually just the process of becoming one with the Lord, and it is not equivalent to nasha. That is something that is not visible. That is all. That is the difference between destruction and merging. So I'll go to the Gita shlokas at the last, Sairam. So Swami says, just because a thing is out of sight, how can you pronounce it to be destroyed? No. A lump of sugar or salt disappears when it is placed in water. You see it no more. But can you say that it has been destroyed? Or do you say it has merged? So Swami says, just like how salt or sugar, when it is put in water, it is actually dissolved. Like it is not destroyed, it still exists within the water, but we say that it has merged, but it has not been destroyed. It is there. The taste declares it. It has lost the form, but it is present as its quality or guna. So the soul also merges like this in Brahman. It is not destroyed at all. When the soul is not merged like this, it can at best only wander between heaven and earth, deserving life in heaven for some time and descending again to earth for further effort towards salvation. So here Swami, he gives the conclusive statement here by saying, when a soul merges in Brahman, it only loses the form, but the guna is still there. The guna is again, it is same as Brahman, and it never gets destroyed. Like how even when the salt is dissolved in water, when we taste this, that water tastes salty, but we cannot see the salt, but that does not mean the salt has gone, because the water is still salty. So similarly, the soul only merges in Brahman, and if this does not happen, the soul is not merged like this. The only thing that can happen is we can only transit between heaven and earth. That is, the soul goes to heaven and then comes back to earth, and then it keeps repeating like a process. uh, this kind of a thing can only be crossed by the Kaivalya Mukti that Swami explained, the permanent kind of Mukti. And Arjuna still has doubt, and he asks, Krishna, you say that there is no heaven or even the highest region of Brahman can save people from the cycle of birth and death. Then what is the royal road to salvation? Do you mean to say that those who strive for those heavens have to satisfy themselves with just that and no more? So here Swami asks, Arjuna asks that even people who reach to the highest point of heaven, like the Swarga Loka, Indra Loka, or Brahma Loka, those people are not actually saved from birth and death. So what is the Raja Marga to salvation? What is the royal road? So he says that do people who strive for heavens have to just satisfy with heavens, and they cannot get the permanent kind of mukti? Is that what you are saying? Is what Arjuna asks. So Krishna answers, Partha, there is the state that knows no decline beyond all these heavens, and there are many roads by which that state can be won. Unaware of these roads or of the joy of the state, people are taking to others that are either crooked or comfortable. They do not know how to distinguish between the right road and the wrong. So here Swami says that there is a state that is beyond all kinds of like decline or return, and which is beyond all the heavens. And so Swami says there are many roads by which that kind of a state can be won, and unaware of these kind of roads and or the paths that we have to take to reach that kind of undeclinable state, people are actually taking whichever that is comfortable or whichever that is short, that kind of road that people are taking, and they don't actually distinguish between the right road and the wrong. And Swami says, I'm going to tell you about the four roads that are now being used by mankind. First one is beyond or unaffected by actions, which is karma tita. The second is action without any desire for the fruit thereof, unaffected by any craving for the fruit therefrom, which is nishkama karma. That is, the first one is being unaffected by actions or karma tita, which is beyond action. Second is doing action without the desire for the results, without any like doing an action without actually thinking about the result. That is being unaffected by the result. So that is nishkama karma. Third is action with ambition to reap and enjoy its fruit, which is sakama karma. So when we do an action in the third way, we actually have that conscious desire to reap the fruit, and we want to enjoy the results of the action. So that is sakama karma. And the fourth is action that knows no restraint or control. That is karma brashta. Like we don't have any control or we don't have any restraint, but we just do actions as and when we have our whims and fancies. That kind of a thing is the fourth thing, that is karma brashta. So Swami says that these are the four ways to moksha. So Swami, I would like to conclude with the first road that Swami talks about, Sai Ram, which is first one is karma thita. So Swami says those beyond action, that is karma, are liberated while alive, that is jivan muktas. All their actions have been burned up by the fire of wisdom. Their impulses for actions have been scorched by the wisdom they have gained. They have no further need for injunctions and prohibitions. They have no spiritual exercise like charity, virtuous living, or austerity. All that they do or feel or think will be divine, holy, virtuous, and beneficial to mankind. So here Swami says that all those kinds of people are actually jivan muktas, are people who are already liberated while they are even alive. So their actions have been burned up by the fire of wisdom or jnana. So they are in in conjunction with the jnana yoga, they are doing the karmas. So their impulses for actions, that is, like the compulsive need to do action, have been already burnt by the wisdom that they have gained. So they have no need for any kind of spiritual discipline, is what Swami says, that they don't need to do charity, they don't have to have a like a virtuous kind of life, or they don't even have to do any kind of austerities to like praying to God, or again contemplation on God, or any kind of thing. Is that the actions that they do with that kind of a selfless intent, that itself will be very divine or holy, and it will definitely be beneficial to mankind, is what Swami says. So Swami even says that the very earth on which they tread is sacrosanct. Every word they utter will be the word of God. On death, their breath need not take them to the realms that are heavenly. On the falling away of the bodily raiment, they merge without delay in Brahman. So Swami says, like the earth, the places that they go to, that becomes holy, and even the word they utter are the words of God. And even when they die, they don't have to take the effort of chanting chanting Om, or thinking of God at the last moment, because by default they will be in that state that they will actually go to Brahman without any kind of a delay. They'll directly go to Brahman. And Swami says, such are the souls who were described by me now as having absolute liberation, attainment of Brahman, or instant liberation. So Swami says that is the one who people who are saying as Kaivalya Mukti, or the people who actually attain liberation immediately and without any kind of a delay, because their life, in their lifetime, they have done the action without any kind of they don't even need the action, but they have only performed that because such kind of action is what needs to be done in the worldly plane. So they don't have any need for even doing those actions. So such kind of people who are actually elevated to the level of wisdom, they are Jivan Muktas, and they actually attain liberation immediately, is what Swami says. And then actually this shloka pertains to the Nishkama karma aspect of Swami. And here actually the step-by-step process to attain Mukti is what in the previous topic that we discussed, the two ways to attain Mukti. Two types of liberation, that is liberation by stages, or Krama Mukti. So here Swami says, one becomes fit to attain Brahman when he or she possesses a purified intellect and firmly restrains the senses, abandoning sound and other objects of the senses, casting aside attraction and aversion. Such a person relishes solitude, eats lightly, controls the body, mind, and speech, and is ever engaged in meditation and practices dispassion, free from egotism, violence, arrogance, desire, and possessiveness of property and selfishness. Such a person, situated in tranquility, is fit for union with Brahman, that is, realization of the absolute truth as Brahman. So here Swami says, first we have to have a purified intellect. That is the Jnana Yoga that Swami talks about. We have to have a purified intellect, and we should firmly restrain the senses. That is like how Swami clarified by saying he does not talk about the destruction of the senses, but the senses should do their actions, but we should have a restraint on that. And then Swami says, not pursuing the object of the senses. So the sense objects are what that is pursued by the senses when we are not restraining them. So when we abandon them, by default we are restraining the senses. And then when we do this, again the next step is we have to give away attraction or aversion. That is what we need and what we like and dislike, or what we gain joy from or sorrow from. Such kinds of things we have to be unaffected by. And then when we do all these things, so what Swami says is such kind of a person does not want to even the satsangatve nisangatve nirmohatvam, that kind of he becomes solitary, or he enjoys his own company, and he does not want to be with other people, and he eats lightly, and he controls his body, mind, and speech. So he does not even want a lot of food, so that his body, again, he needs to identify with the body. So he controls the way his body, mind, and speech acts, and he's ever engaged in meditation, and he practices dispassion. That is, again, dispassionate is what Swami says in Nishkama Karma, the second kind of the person who second kind of the road to mukti. And again, he such kind of a person is also free from ego or violence or arrogance or desire, the possessiveness of property and selfishness, the shad ripus, that is kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mata and matsarya. So such kind of a person is actually very tranquil or calm. So he is, again, the three aspects that Swami talks about: who does not who is not involved with action, who is dispassionate about things, and he is free from all kinds of the six enemies that mankind suffers from, and he's also quiet and calm. So such kind of a person is actually fit for direct union with Brahman, or he directly goes and attains Brahman, is what Swami says, Sairam. So I think this chapter is also a bit heavy, since we talk about death and liberation. So the other three roads to attain liberation will cover in our next week, Sairam. So if there are any comments, questions, or feedback, please let us have a discussion on that, Sairam. I think TGK uncle also will be joining a bit shortly. Uh, Sairam uncle, Sairam.
Sairam, Sairam, Sairam.
Actually, we do a session on Gita Vahini, uncle, on every Thursday. Sorry, that is Friday India time, Friday morning. So I postponed that so that we could have it in the gap today.
Good.
Sairam.
So you are still going on with the Bhagavad Gita, or are you over?
No, it's over, uncle. I think maybe we can get started with the session now.
I'm ready.
Uncle, also another thing. Can we, if we start by 8:45, can we conclude by 9:45, uncle? If
Okay,
possible?
okay, no problem.
Sure, uncle. Because people might need to go for work and.
Okay, I'm ready.
Sure, uncle. I'll quickly present the summary of last
from
week.
Next Saturday from 8:45 instead of 9.
Yes, uncle. If it is comfortable by you, then okay, uncle.
It is comfortable. Okay, no problem.
Sure.
Sairam uncle.
Varada.
నూతన సంవత్సర శుభాకాంక్షలు.
Did you receive my new what do you call that? God whispers?
I'm yet to see it.
Oh, see.
Okay.
I wrote about the New Year. The
Okay. Okay.
Sadhu. God will say night 11 o'clock, Pampina. You read that. That gives you a complete details of this year.
Sorry, sir. Sorry, sir.
Sadhu. Ugadi and Emi.
Okay. Okay.
You means a G and Emi, A and Emi, D and Emi. Atlanta Sadhu. Sadhu.
Okay. Okay. Sorry.
Okay, right.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
So, Sarup,
Yes, uncle.
you
So
can
last,
now 8:47. Now, if you want to start now today, now at 8:47,
yes, uncle. Yeah.
go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So March 26th was our last session, the last Saturday. So, uncle, we started with how Ravana was actually trying to get close to Sita, but it was not possible due to her Pativrata Shakti, and he actually tries to convince Sita, but she is not convinced, and she is not even doing anything in reply. So he tries other strategies, like he tries to send the female demons, and they try to convince or threaten and try many methods to convince Sita to say, like saying that no man can enter Lanka and all those things, but Sita does not even care about that. Then they try to threaten Sita by trying to will kill her and all those kinds of things. But nothing is working out. But then Hanuman is actually observing all this from the tree, like sitting in the small monkey form. And then we also looked at how Ravana is also the grandson of Brahma, that is the son of Vishrava Muni, who is the Manasa
Pulastya.
Pulastya, sorry.
Pulastya son is Vaisravas. Vaisravas son is Ravana.
Okay, great grandson of Brahma. I'll change that.
Great.
Then Hanuman comes and introduces himself, and he gives that emerald ring and all those things. We actually saw that in a previous session, uncle. At March 19th, we covered that, but we had a revision kind of thing.
Correct.
Then we looked at how Vibhishna also comes to Lord Rama's refuge, and actually Hanuman studies all the Akshauhinis of Ravana, where to start the attack and all those kinds of things. Hanuman studies, and then how Vanaras are fickle-minded, and Hanuman actually burnt the Lanka and Ashokavana, those parts, and not Ashokavana, all the buildings and all those kinds of things. Then he comes back, and he feels since he's fickle-minded, he forgets about Sita first, and he tries to attack Lanka. But after everything is burning, he realizes Sita Devi is still there in Lanka, so he comes back to check, and when he realizes that she is okay. She actually gives the chudamani which she wears in her crown head, so that he takes it back to Rama, and then he returns to the shore. We talk about how he returns to the shore, and he relays the same news to Jambavan, Angada, and troops who are present there. So they are all happy and they celebrate since they are the Vanaras and the fickle-minded kind of people. We discussed how Vanaras at that time did not actually have the tail which is actually depicted in today's serials and all those kinds of things, uncle. They were just people who are fickle-minded, since Valmiki did not mention anything about tail or something like that.
No.
So,
no tail.
Yes, uncle. Then we went to see how Rama did not even want to see Hanuman at that point of time, since he actually destroyed property of many innocent people in Sri Lanka, and how one whole night Hanuman was praying to Lord Rama by thinking of Ramanama all through the night, and then Hanuman actually says, Rama actually gives the explanation why this punishment was given. And then I think at this point we concluded, uncle. Next, we are talking about Yuddha Kanda today. Sai Ram.
Okay. See, before we go to this continued Ramayana, today is Ugadi, New Year's Day for Andhras, Karnataka, and some of the northern states also. I don't know what particular state. They also celebrate Ugadi. So Swami also celebrates Ugadi, gives importance for Ugadi. Why there is a difference between Tamil New Year's Day and Telugu New Year's Day? Telugu New Year's Day is April 2nd and Tamil New Year's Day is April 14th. And April 14th is fixed already. Always April 14th. What does it mean? See, the Ugadi, Telugu people, Karnataka people, they calculate their astrology, their planet position based on the movement of the moon. Today, moon is in Ashwini Nakshatra. April 14th, the sun enters into Ashwini Nakshatra. So Ashwini Nakshatra is the first nakshatra of Mesha Rashi. 27 stars are there, out of which Mesha Rashi is number 1. So today moon enters Aswini Nakshatra. So in Telugu people, they use it. So every 60, there are names are given by Vedas, the Vedic scholars. 60 names have been given to every year. That repetition comes in. Swami's birthday 1926. That is known as Akshaya Nama Samvatsharam. But today, Subhakrut Nama Samvatsharam. Subhakrut means auspicious. Krut means action. Subha means auspicious. Krut means action. If you are able to do auspicious action today, even a small bit, you get plenty. You get plenty. So that is the reason why Yugadi they said. So Swami gives a very beautiful explanation about this Yugadi. U G A D I Yugadi, not Ugadi. Yugadi. So the first word is Ugadi. Use the word U stands for unity of thought, power, and deed. Thought, word, and deed. That is, you must your feeling, your thinking, your talking, and your action all should be the same. Vachasanyam, Vachasanyam, and then Karmasanyam is Mahatmanam. Mahatmanam means good act. Whereas if you do bad one, Achastanyam, Karmanyam, that is Duratmanam. If you do one thing, think of something else, do something else, that is bad. So this year, especially the Subhakrut, this year is good for even the small work can be done. So U stands for unity of thought, word, and deed. So you remember that your thought should be the same, word should be the same, action should be the same. That is what you should remember. That starts for U stands for Yugadi. Then next comes G. G means God. I am everywhere. There is no place without me. So therefore, don't forget that I am there with you. Here in the case of Rama, I am going to tell you how Vanaras forget about Rama's position. I will tell you all those things. So God, G means God. He is omnipresent, omniscient. There is no place in this world, in this universe, without Him. You keep that feeling. Lord is there in everything. Whatever you do, Lord is doing. Next is A. A stands for as you sow, so you reap. That is, every action has got a reaction. As you sow, if you do anything good, you will get the good action. If you do bad, therefore use the power of discrimination. This year, you must use the power of discrimination to do or not to do. Don't jump at it. Vanaras who should not jump at a conclusion to do in a particular job just like that without going into the details. Power of discrimination. For the power of discrimination, this is time because of this. As you sow, so you reap means think before you act. You must always think, analyze, then put it to action. You see, in our Ganesha Chaturthi, we praise we accept Hanuman. Elephant. Why? What are the why should we Ganesha Chaturthi give an elephant head? You should have given some other head. But elephant head means you see the trunk which touches the soil. Whenever it moves, it always touches the soil. Make sure the soil is hard, and otherwise, if it's a clay, it will stop it. Power of discrimination. For every step, it uses power of discrimination. This is what we learn from Vinayaka Chaturdashi. So similarly here, we have to use as you sow, so you reap. Be careful. Be careful. If you eat onion, you can't get the smell of an apple. You will get only smell of an onion only. So therefore, be careful. As you sow, you reap. Keep the order further. Power of discrimination is very, very important. In order to get power of discrimination, you observe silence for some time. Don't talk too much. Talk whenever there is relevantly. If it is necessary, you talk. Otherwise, don't talk. Don't waste your time. This year, we should not waste your time. Especially this year, because of Subhakrut is there, If you waste your time, you are missing the opportunity. You are missing the opportunity. Therefore, be careful about what you should do and all those things. Then D comes dedication. Dedicate all your actions to Him. The reactions of all your actions to Him. All your actions to Him. That is the feeling you should have. That means to whom? At His lotus feet. Place at His lotus feet. Padasrayananta samasta chauram. Put him on his pada, all your touch his feet and then offer whatever you did. Don't think that you did it. You should not do. See what you should not do it. See, whenever we go abroad to give a talk and all those things, they want to put a shawl on our shoulder, on our head. We don't accept at all. Baba, please don't do it. I'm only a servant of the Lord. I can't. You have to go to the Lord. For me, if you want to give a book, I'm prepared to take a book to read. Sammamish books are there. Any spiritual I'm prepared to, but not this thing. Always keep that you are nothing before Him. Without Him, you are nothing. That kind of feeling you should develop. That's why every action of His dedication. Here comes in Hanuman. Hanuman, what happened? All those things I'll talk to. Why Hanuman was reprimanded by Lakshmana and Rama. All those things I'll talk to you now. Now, next is I. I means individualistic ego. Individuality. I did it. That is individuality. You can't do anything without Him. So don't have that ego. I means individualistic ego. That ego has to be removed. Once you remove that ego, then you are good. So therefore, I means individuality, no individuality. Plurality. Plu means bahu. We are, not I am. Don't use the word I am. We are. We means what? You are not alone. You are with God in your heart. So how can you use the word I? I means singular. You must be plural. We. So we means that does not mean that you are talking to two people. You are within yourself. There is one more person. That is divine person. So therefore, use the word we, WV, but not I. So individualistic ego has to be forgotten. Therefore, be careful about this. Ugadi means these are the feeling that we should. These 5 principles, if you follow this year, you take it from me. We have no rebirth. So that is the reason why Subhakrut, the name given. This is where people today, this year, especially this year, God is very eager to bless you. Eager to bless you. You are one insignificant act is good for Him to bless you. That is why the name has been given as Subha, auspiciousness, truth, action. Auspicious action, if you do in a small way also, He gives abundance. He immediately takes you to His heart. So people, those who are suffering because of the health, or because of the money, or because of family problems, so many problems are there. All these things can be solved today, provided you feel UGADI, follow. What all I said now. U stands unity, G stands for God, A stands for so every action is a reaction. Then D stands for dedication to God. I stands for individual egoistic ego must be removed. Individualistic ego must be removed. If you follow these things, we are sure to get His blessing, and we should get a place in His heart forever. That is Ugadi. So let us not waste our time. Especially this year, we should not waste your time. Yesterday I sent a message. Varda, you please go read that whatever I said. Swarup, I also sent a message to you also, I think.
Yes, sir.
I don't
Yeah.
know. You read it, go home
Yes, sir.
you read it. So now let us come back to this Ravana. Now, see Swami, whenever he gives some work, hey, you go, you do this and tell me what, and I am there with you. Don't worry. So we go there and we are able to do certain things. We talk to the minister, we talk to the officers and all. They all agree. You think that you did it. So we came back to Puttaparthi, where other trust members are there, especially Jogarao, Kutumbarao, and all those people. They called me. What happened? So we are talking to him, we tell Swami, we tell Jogarao, Kutubrao and other people, Chiranjeev Rao, all these people, we wish to tell them, oh, this is what I did, this is what I did, this is what I did, this is what I did. Result were good. Oh, they are very happy. They are very, very happy that you did it well, we say you are the great hero and all those. And I am puffed up. I am puffed up. They're all praising like anything. Could have done that. You did it. I say, oh my God! I think it's just such a huge work. I did it. It does not look to be so huge, but this will praising that it's a huge work. Maybe. Then Swami called me inside. Go, thinking that I'm going to be blessed by Swami. Who asked you to go and talk to those people? I am the one who gave the word to do the job. You are supposed to come to me and tell me what job you did it. You are going outside enjoying their praises to you. You puffed up. Do you think you have done it without me? Then only we understand that we made a terrible mistake and we. I'm sorry, Swami. Please, no question, forgive me. Give me some punishment. Next time I won't do it and all this. Then these three people come. The Jogarao, Kutubrao, Chiranjeev Rao, they all come. Swami Krishnamurti did like this. Yes, yes, yes. Krishnamurti is really very good. And he's praising me in the presence of those people. And same time watching me whether I am puffed up again or not. I used to say at that time, so no. Yes, Swami only did it. Swami only did it. He says like that, but he did a very good job. Swami. See how you place a drama to check, to control your emotions. See how you control your emotions. You should not puff up. Always you feel that he is with you. Without that, no nothing. Here in the case of what happened to Hanuman landed the seashore. Jambavan, Angada and other people are waiting and they are celebrating. Oh, you did a great hero, this and that. Except Jambavan. Jambavan only kept quiet. He did not. All others are praising him like anything. Oh, we did it. Let us celebrate. Let us do it. You must have seen in the cricket match, if they won a cup, immediately they take the cup, everybody, and started opening champagne bottles. Here, come on, let's have some vineyard. Let's go some vineyard. So they also went probably old champagne. So they are all enjoying drinking the white vineyard and all those things. The Jambavan was silent, they watching. Then these people from seashore, they went to Kishkinda. Rama was staying in Srirangam. They went to Kishkinda and reported to Sugriva. Sugriva was so happy because he's the king. I did it. So yeah, my people did it. Like, come on, let us go. And they all come to Kishkinda to tell Swami, over, everything is done. We find out all those things. Sugriva, okay, come on, I will take the army because I am the king. So actually, I will lead the army. I'll lead the army. I'll go and smash everything. I jump without even analyzing what is this and all those things. And Jambavan is keeping quiet. And Rama, what Rama did? In the presence of all this, he started praising Hanuman. Oh, Hanuman did a very good job. You see, without that, would not do anything. Although he required my presence, and he started embracing him. Then at that time, my Swami, what a divine act you are. You are teaching me, you are reforming me alone. When I am alone, you are reforming me from negative attitude to positive attitude. But in the praise of for sake of society, because I did some act like this, you wanted others also to do the same act. So you are embracing my Lord, but I am nothing before you. I am nothing before you. That Veera Hanuman became a Bhakta Hanuman. Hello? Okay. He became a Bhakta Hanuman. Then now let us come. So then Jambavan tells this to Sugriva, hey, don't keep on talking too much. Listen to what Rama says. She keep quiet, he said. Then everybody kept quiet. Rama was silent for a moment. Then Rama asked Hanuman in the presence of everybody, Hanuman, you went there. What did you see? What did you see? Explain. He says, from the land of the sea, the land of Lanka, the city of Lanka is about 10 yojanas. 10 yojanas means 800 miles. You can imagine at that time the area of Lanka. Today, it is 800 miles is the end of Lanka today. But in those days, 800 miles is the city of Lanka. So that means again southern portions are there. Today the southern portions are vanished. So today is only 800 miles. 800 miles is the city of Lanka, and Ashokavanam still south. So according to Swami, there is no Ashokavanam today. It's all gone, all at sea. Only Ashokavanam, Sita was kept as a prisoner. Now here this man explains like this. See, the whole city, the Lanka city, was surrounded by seashore. They're able to bring water from the sea and make it surrounding the city of they dug everything about 40 feet deep from city wall to the gate wall to the ground, 40 feet deep, and water came there full of water. Water also is 30 feet below from the ground level, and they cannot. There is a bridge. They constructed ramparts, RAMPART, rampart, that is a wooden bridge controlled by mechanical device that opens. Then only people can get in. Otherwise, they cannot get in because there is a 30 feet water. That water also 30 feet below. You have to jump into the water, swim, go 30 feet. Again, you have to climb the water. It's not possible. And again, they have kept stones, boulders, fire, everything on the top of the fort. If at all people come nearer to the gate, the boulders are thrown at him, the fire was thrown at him, arrows were thrown at him. So so much of the defense system they had. There are 4 gates are there: south, north, east, and west. Southwest people do not, nobody goes there because it is from the South Pole. There not much of a land is there. So that is, they do not take, but still there is a Akshohini. One Akshohini is kept there. Akshohini means we call it a regiment. One regiment kept there on the eastern side. Today Malaysia, that Malaysia was known as Malaya according to Ramayana. The Ramayana and Lanka was adjoined together like this. But today the Malaysia went back because the sea came into the middle and Malaysia was thrown out towards the east. So Malaya was there. So that Malaya was there. So natural people may not enter from the east. This is what Hanuman says. People may not enter from the east. And in the west, the land is far away, more than 500,000 miles. So they may not come. The only possibility for people to enter Lanka is only from the north. Because north, the distance is very short. Land I'm talking about, not the city of Lanka, land of Lanka. So he explains like this. And there in Lanka, every citizen after 18 years of life, then they must have army discipline, army training, 3 years minimum. And without the army training, they cannot get married. So a bridegroom means you must have undergone 3 years to 4 years of army training. So therefore, in Lanka, every citizen, every male citizen, adult citizen is a soldier. So much of defense are there. And secondly, they have a lot of mechanical device. Without staying inside the Lanka, inside the city of Lanka, they can throw things, send the arrows to the land of South India, land of Bharat, not India, Bharat. It was known as Bharat in those days. Bharat means Brahma Vidyam Tasya Brahmate iti Bharataha, a land where everybody can sit, can contemplate on the knowledge of supreme absolute truth without any interruption. That land is known as Bharat. This is Bharat. So therefore, that is why in Bharat we do not fight, we do not invade. We only say self-defense. We do not invade. We do not hurt people. You must have seen India has never invaded any country anywhere for the past 5,000 or 6,000 years. No invasion. They're only self-defense. They're fighting for themselves. No question of hurting, taking war. No question of declaring war. That's why it's known as war. That's why even today we are also following the same thing. Today we also follow the same thing. We never take part in war. Anyway, now that has come to here. So therefore, these are the things, and he has got ministers they're all experts in military training, military aspect, the way in which they're planning the city and planning, assuming that the army comes in, what to do. So there's so much of plans has been, so much of things has been ready. Nobody 100% ready. Like what to do today, you must have seen. Every country has got nuclear weapons. Within a minute, they can spoil the whole thing. So they're ready with all the nuclear weapons today. Similarly, Lanka had so much of a weapon that nobody, any man can come to the land of Lanka. Then at that time, before these people were there coming towards the seashore from Kishkinda, from Kishkinda to Srirangam to Lanka, they're coming towards the seashore. At that time, Ravana calls for all the ministers. He got the information from the spies that Vanara army with Rama and Lakshmana, they're marching towards south, towards the seashore. So that means they're planning to enter Lanka, what to do. So he called all the ministers. Cabinet meeting, like what you call today, we have a cabinet meeting. He also had a cabinet meeting. Prahasta is the minister, is the prime minister. And he got all other ministers. He made a Prahasta, you arrange the meeting. Let someone suggest. One man suggests, what is this Ravana? What is this king? So far, nobody has defeated you. You are unconquerable. You conquered Indra, you conquered Kubera, you conquered everybody. All the 5 celestial gods you prepared. Is there anybody? Is there anybody who conquered you? And but then why do you bother about this army? Why? But in the heart of hearts, Ravana also was to the extent he was positive. At the same time, this monkey of Hanuman, how he was able to fly to this extent? 10 yojanas he flew and come to the city of Lanka. So that means army has got some powers. Some powers is army or Rama, whatever it is. So with the keep at the safety, he was listening to everybody. Another minister says, King, please allow me. I'll just go and smash everything and come back. I got all the powers with me. I will do it. One man says like this. Another man says, but in the heart of hearts, Ravana, he lost his son, Akshay Kumara. He was defeated by after one. Akshay Kumar is supposed to be a great warrior. And he was defeated, he was killed by a monkey. He was smashed. His body was smashed into pieces. So that is power of Hanuman. After all, and if Hanuman calls him a servant of the Lord Rama. When servant has got that much of power, how about the boss? So that is Ravana's feeling. At the same time, Ravana and one man says, Swami, King, did you forget that you went to tapas with Paramashiva? You asked for Atmalingam. Narada comes and tells you, if you want to be unconquerable throughout your life, you must have Atmalingam from Paramashiva. Paramashiva is your Kulaguru, Kuladaivam. So he goes there, he sits in tapas and asks for tapas. Hanuman, Shiva comes in. What is it you want? I want your Atmalingam. You are asking myself. Atmalingam, that's what I'm told. I want Atmalingam. Okay, on one condition, I'll give you the Atma condition. You go and reach your Lanka, construct a temple, and put it in the temple. No, Swami, temple already is constructed. Very good. You put Pratishtha, you do Pratishtha there. Till then, you should not keep it on the floor. Only after Pratishtha only you should keep it on the floor. He said, okay, he was carrying. And all celestial gods knew this Ravana, if he is able to carry it to Lanka and do Pratishtha there, then nobody can, even Lord Vishnu also cannot do, because that means Vishnu has to fight against Shiva. How can it be? So they were wondering what to do. They went to Ganesha, do something. All right, I will do it for you, he said. And he became a sort of a boy who were playing with cows and cattle. And during Sandhya Vandanam time, he asked, oh my dear man, you are carrying something with you. Today Sandhya Vandanam, don't you think you do Sandhya Vandanam? You are wearing a thread, crossing thread, Brahmana, Janjam, call it. You are wearing it. Yes, I have to do Sandhya Vandanam, but I cannot put it on the floor. So, don't worry, you give it to me, I will keep it for you. I will keep it for you. You go and do Sandhya Vandanam. On one condition. The moment I want to go, I will call you 3 times. What is your name? My name is Ravana. Okay, I will call you Ravana 3 times. By 3 times, if you do not come, I will keep it. Okay. He went to the seashore and he was doing Sandhya Vandanam. Immediately, Ravana once, Ravana twice, Ravana thrice. And then wait, and he started running up towards this boy. The boy kept on the floor. He kept on the floor. and he went away. And Shiva, the Paramashiva, this Ravana wanted to lift it. He could not lift it. It became bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It became so gigantic. Then Ravana thought, I cannot go back. I cannot go back with this Atmalingam. He wanted to kill himself there. Then Shiva appears. You see, you made a mistake in putting it down under. That is, even the temple is there near Bombay, in seashore. I forgot the name of the temple. There, that area where you can see that Atmalingam temple of Parvasiva. But all right, I'll give you another boon. Whenever any war declares against you, do puja for me, do Shiva Pratishtha, Shiva Pratishta, do Shiva Pratishta, Shiva Stotram. I'll give you Shiva Stotram. You have to stand it, you chant, give Harati, then go. Then you cannot be defeated. So thank you very much. So he thanked the Lord, he came back. So one minister reminds him, say, this is what happened to you. And you every day you are doing puja, every day you give Harati yourself. Where is the question of afraid? Why you should be afraid? See, so much power you have. And one man says. Another man says, another minister says, we are wasting our time to talk about it. It's insignificant. Insignificant. Why so much of a problem? Why you should think? There are so many things. Then everybody at that time, one man comes and tells, you see, best thing is, to kill Sita. If you kill Sita, because she did not listen to you, better to kill her. At that time, in that minister cabinet, Vibhishana also was there. So Vibhishana comes, no, you should not kill a woman. It's a sin to kill a woman for nothing. She did not do anything. Why should you kill him? And secondly, you are discussing about this war. See, first of all, you must have Sama, Dana, Veda, Danda. 4 methods you have to adopt. Sama means conciliation. Let us discuss. Why do you want to fight against us? Why do you want to fight against us? Tell me. Let us discuss. Concile yourself. That's what happened in the case of Ukraine and Russia. Why you are fighting with me? Ukraine, there's no answer. So whatever it is here, so you let us conciliation. Sama, Dana, all that, anything to be charitable, anything to be given, let us give it and settle it. Settle it. Out of court. You must have seen the lawyers also. Say, we cannot win the case. Better talk to the other person, give something, settle it out of court. Like that. Just all that. Then Veda. After this, then you can tell about what you have with your power. Explain to you that I have so much of power, but I don't want to do anything. Let us do it. Then with all those things, they do not listen. Then army. Danda means army. So adopt these 4 methods. Why do you want to discuss it? All of a sudden, army. Did they declare war against you? No. Then all these ministers say, hey, Vibhishana, what are you talking? You want to wait till they come and hit on our head? This is not this is not you are unfit to be a younger brother of Ravana. Ravana got upset. Hey, Vibhishana, you are a traitor. And Vibhishana also admitted, best thing is, instead of killing Sita, send him back to him. That is conciliation. Settle it out of court. So Sama, Dana, give him Sita back to him. Sita, then where is the question of war? There is no war. Ravana did not agree. Hey, you are talking against, you get out of the place, don't see me anymore. Then Vibhishana got upset. He was insulted in the presence of the ministers, though he is the younger brother of Ravana. Kumbhakarna was there, in the presence of Kumbhakarna, in the presence of Indrajit, the Prahasta, Prime Minister, in the presence of other ministers, he was insulted. So he left. So what did he do? He for them, the Kula Guru, Kula Daivam is Shiva. He goes to Shiva. She says, Swami, this is what happened. Why should I leave? Take me. Then Lord Shiva tells him, Lord Vishnu has come back in the face of Rama, in the disguise of Rama. Go to him, surrender to him. He will do the needful for you. He is there now in the seashore. He is about to go to your Lanka. You go there. Then immediately he comes to seashore where they're coming towards seashore. So he comes there near the seashore. At that time, Sugriva, oh, this fellow is a spy. Let us be careful and see that we should not land and all those things. We should kill him before he lands. Then Hanuman says, no, 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 he is Vibhishana. I knew him. I met him. He is the one who wanted to pacify Ravana when Ravana was insulting me. He said, don't do it. He's an ambassador. You should treat him as an Atiti. You should not. You should not. Then therefore let Vibhishana come. And Rama knew all these things. And Hanuman introduced Vibhishana to Rama. Swami is like this, like this, like this. And he said, don't worry, come on, I accept you. Be with us. You are my brother. Rama says you are my brother. And secondly, we are going to a war. And after killing Ravana, you have become the king. I made you king. Now it's a king in exile. You see that? Take the water, put at the head. Now Pratishtha, I did it. You are the king. King in exile. That's what happened in the case of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose. Netaji during the World War II, where was he? He was outside the country. Outside the country. And he is the only one who wanted to fight against the British army. Whereas Indians they're all docile. Mahatma Gandhi, Nehru, they're all docile. They're only waiting, so supporting British people. So that they'll have good terms with British people and all. Whereas Netaji went on the war foot. So this is the difference. So now then go to Vibhishana, ask for surrender. Then Rama says, I will do it. Then he says, so in that case, Swami, Rama Vibhishana, after being greeted, blessed by Rama, he said, let me go back. I'll wait at the other shore of Lanka. You can come. Okay. Now, according to excavation did by this government of India for the case of Ayodhya, they give the date as 3rd August 5635. 5635 BC, on the day on which Hanuman landed in the seashore after the war. How do you like it? And they also give the bridge. They started crossing the bridge on 4th September 5635. That means about a month time to cross the bridge. This is excavation. I'm not talking of but it's not by date. Excavation given, submitted to the Supreme Court for allowing Sri Rama's temple. So much of details they did it. So I'm only giving you the details from what they submitted to Supreme Court. So now, question comes in, how to cross the sea. So everybody was worry. Nobody knows. Nobody could give any answer to it. Then Rama, Varuna Deva, sea of the Lord comes out. What can I do for you? No, we want to cross the sea. We want to cross the sea. Now go to the other shore. Shall you separate the water? Rama says, no, don't do it. If you do separate like this water goes towards the west. It lands in some other lands. The lands are occupied. People die. Similarly, it goes towards the east. No, don't do that. Don't do that. So that you are affecting others. So you should look at the unity of Rama. Whatever, even if you want to help him, you must see by helping him, others are not deteriorated, others are not demolished. That is the character of Rama. He does not. We don't bother as long as we get the result. Others may suffer. We don't bother about it. He says, others suffering, I don't want any result. He says. Then what to do? Then Nila is the commander of the Vanara army. He says, we will put boulders to see bridge. We construct a bridge that should float, not immerse in water. Varuna Deva accepts. Then Rama blesses him. So now the question comes to boulders. So all monkeys here and there, they went. The small boulders means not 8 feet, 10 feet like that. What Hanuman did, these boulders, we require so many boulders. The best thing is I'll bring an elephant, bring a big mountain. So he came back south. He went towards the north, Kodaikanal hills. There are a lot of hills area there. He took one hill, one mountain, and he wanted to bring it, put it here. By the time he came here, the bridge was ready. And Rama was about to go. Then the bridge mountain cried, "What is this? I was in the midst of my family people. You brought me here thinking that God will bless me. Now there is no question of blessing. You said wait, and Rama comes. He says, Hanuman, Swami, see this. He came from here, from all the from his family friends to help you, to surrender to you, to go ask, but do seva. But seva is over. What to do? Please bless him. Someone said, okay, I touch and throw it to the north. I'll take care of it later. I think I already told you that mountain is known as Govardhanagiri. Govardhan during Krishna's time, when the creates a rain, Indra was not happy with Krishna. A lot of rain in the in the rain, and Krishna, a lot of people are suffering because of rain, and the hearts may be washed away. People are suffering. Krishna comes there, lifts this Govardhanagiri with the left hand, single finger for a week. At that time, mountain asks, "What is this? You are so much young, and you have got so much of power. Instead of lifting me and saving them to come under the tree, under the keeping them as an umbrella, why can't you stop the rain?" Then he says, "My dear Giri, I could have, but you remember the previous incarnation, you waited for me. You wanted to bless me. I should not bless you. You wanted me to bless you, but there was no time for me. I said, you go. You waited for one yuga for my sake. When you waited for one yuga, can you not give blessing at least for 1 week? Enjoy yourself, he says. That is, I let go. Now the bridge is ready. Now date is what is the date we should give? Then Krishna, Hanuman, not Jambavan is also astrologer. Swami, Rama, you are belong to Surya Vamsa. Surya Vamsa. So Uttara Palguni Nakshatra belongs to Surya. You must know Maka, Pura Palguni, Uttara Palguni, Simha Rasi. Fourth Pada only come to Kanya Rasi. So 1, 2, 3 Pada. So we will go another 2 days with Uttara Palguni come. We can do that. And it will take about 3, 4 days to reach. Then we will reach at the nakshatra of Vishaka. Vishaka nakshatra is Guru. You see here how Jambavan tells this. For us, it's not a question of Rama. Anything that you work that you should do it in the where Sanya Rasi, Surya Nakshatra, and then Vishaka Nakshatra, Guru Nakshatra. So planet of the sun, planet of Guru is more important in your horoscope. All others are waste. If Guru is good, nobody can stop it. If Sun is good, your health is 100% perfect. Health is 100% perfect. Guru means you are full of wisdom. So these are mostly, this was Jambavan says. So according to these people, according to the excavation given in the Supreme Court, their Vadara army landed on the 4th September, that is 31 days after the Sri Lanka. It took 30 days for them to build and 4 days to reach Sri Lanka, and they reached on the 4th September 5365. Dates are given in Supreme Court. It's not my dates. It's officially there. If you want to learn, you take that document called Ayodhya Kanda. They submitted to, you can go through all those details if you want to go through. Now, what the plan? This city of Lanka is on a mountain side, so that people also do not, they have to walk, cry. They want to go to the city. So much of a defense they have made for them, self defense, so that they could do it. Rama keeps quiet, allow me to play. Then at that time, Sugriva was still jumping. I will do it. I will take army. I will go and do it and all that. Then Jambavan tells Sugriva, "You are a fool. Don't cry. Don't think you are a king. Before you became a king, you are begging Rama. Surrender it to Rama. Please help me. I'm against Vali and all those things. You are requesting. Then afterwards, when you made a king, now you are puffed up. This is the way to behave. Similarly, we also, most of us, we are all devotees for Swami. Swami makes you a state president or some trust convener. After some time, you slowly forget about devotion, work and all those things. You are busy with material work. You forget. You think you are doing it. I did it. This is what happened for Sugriva also. So Jambavan says, he's elderly man, Jambavan, a wisdom, man of wisdom, don't do it. To go and tell Rama, Rama, you take the lead, we follow you. Say that. Then Sugriva accepts, yes, I made a mistake, I should not have jumped it. It's only because of him I became the king. So then where the question myself jumped. I thought I could do some seva to him like this. But doing seva, go with a surrendering mode, not as a king. You, after all, you are a servant. The king may be there. You are a king because you are given to the place. You are a state president. You are become a trust member because he has given a place for you. That does not mean that you should jump over. Still more. You should be more humble. You should be more humble. Then Jambon advises this Sugriva. Yes, I made a mistake. I should not have done it. So I calm down myself. Now in the meanwhile, Ravana has to prepare war. What to do? What sort of I should prepare? Then one minister says, "Why all these things, sir? Indrajit is enough to go and stop it. Indrajit, he is the one who conquered Indra, like you. He also conquered Indra. Indrajit means conquered Indra. Satyajit, must know Satyajit, Swami's servant, means he conquered truth. Satyajit. So that is Jitendra means who conquered all senses. So these are the names given. So this is like this. So Indrajit is like that. Allow him to go fight. He's got Brahmastra. What more do you require? We got so much of nuclear weapons with us. Brahmastra is equal to a nuclear weapon. Still, Ravana feels something wrong with him, something lacking in him. That kind of a little negative thinking came to his mind. Though there is Atma Gauravam, Atma Lingam is in the house, he has to do puja. Then Indrajit is there and is unconquerable so far and want to do puja and Harati go there and nobody can conquer him. In spite of all these things, why should he, Ravana, be little scared, not scared, little pessimistic, negative attitude? That is because of Rama's divinity. Rama's divinity. When Rama entered the land of Lanka, he started not shivering, he started negative thinking. Some force is forcing me to bend my head. You see that? The moment we get into Prasanthi Nilayam and Swami inside the room, the moment you get to Prasad, all along we're talking, jumping and everything. The moment you enter Prasanthi Nilayam, we keep quiet. We're absolutely silent. Silent, we go there, bend down our head and say Sai Ram to everybody. The moment you go out of Prasanthi Nilayam, as long as you are outside Prasanthi Nilayam, you are shouting, showing your capacity as a minister, as a secretary of the IAS official and all those things. But the moment you enter Prasanthi Nilayam, keeps quiet. Why? And you are not seeing Swami. Swami is still in his room. But here keep quiet. The divine atmosphere created in the Prasanthi Nilayam as long as Swami physically was in existence there. So therefore, when anybody enter, they have to bend down their head. Not that because of rule. They themselves do it. So similarly here, Ravana felt it. Some divine force is forcing me to bend down. Some divine force. So far, I am unconquerable. But now I feel I may be. He feels so. But still, everybody says, then afterwards, Mandodari comes. See, whatever said and done, my dear husband, my dear Nata, I want you to be happy. See, there's no question of war. War does not give you happy. I also advise you to stop doing war. If you do not, better give Sita to them. Take another woman. You have taken so many women. Even though I am your wife, I accept you. You have today, if our wives, once you have another woman in your mind, she asks you to get out of the house. But there it's not so. Mandodari says, no, please. But give Sita and have peace. Send away Sita, avoid Sita, and have peaceful life. And he has to listen to Mandodari. At the same time, his passion, his lust for Sita was not reduced at all. So then they ask her, you go away, you don't come to the cabinet meeting. It's gents are discussing, go. So Mandodari went say, Mandodari gave his advice. So he did not listen to it. Because passion, PASSION, lust, LUST. That's why whenever a woman, Swami says, whenever you see a woman, see mother. Mother. Every woman is a mother to a man, and every man is son to a woman. If you develop this kind of a feeling, then you will not commit any mistake. Whereas Ravana did so many mistakes. I think I'll give you one my example I'll give you. I think I already told you, I think. I don't know whether Swami, I gave, when I was in London, I earned some money. I earned about 40 crores. About 10 crores I had a liability. I paid back liability, came to Puttaparthi, and I gave a check for 2 crores to Swami in 1990s, 96 or something like that. Where did I get it? I explained like this. Do you know? You made it, and he started discussing, telling me everything that happened in London. You are one of your directors. He wanted to give a banquet dinner for you, and they wanted a lady to be accompanied with you, and you did not have your wife at that time, and they gave a lady, a British model. They came to you. Her name is Leila Jade. Swami says so. Leila Jade, my God. And they gave to you, and the moment you saw her, you said, Mother, please come, you said. I like that word. You, though you are the 25-year-old voluptuous girl, you treated her as your mother. And you explained to her, my mother also would have been so beautiful as you were, but I could not see my mother at your age. So the moment I see now I remember my mother. Come, mother. And you went with her, and she wanted to dance. You did not dance. You are a good dancer, I know. You did not dance. You kept her. She asked her to dance, and the people are drinking champagne and other wine and all those things. You had your tomato juice, and then non-vegetarian food was there. You had vegetarian food, and you blessed her. I appreciate your feeling the moment you see that woman. You treated her as your mother. That's why I'm accepting this check. Remember, whatever the little thing that we do, we think we do. Swami does not know. He knows, but he feels as if he does not. As if he does not. He shows as if he does not know. So he knows every bit. So this is the advice Mandodari gives it to Ravana. Ravana did not take it. So I am telling you how Rama his power made him a little pessimistic, and how passion again attracts him. When Mandodari said, see, Mandodari, he did not. He always treated her as a wife. See, according to me, according to the Vedic Shastra, wife has got 7 kinds of what do you call it? 7 devices. One is a wife, other is a mother, other is a nurse, other is an advisor, other is a helper, other is a supporter. Like 7 types of services are there for a wife, for a wife. So is an advisor. You take her advice. If you take her advice, it's good for you. She always give advice which is good for you. But we don't feel so. We don't give importance. But today, of course, today we give. If you don't give other, you ask you to get out. Therefore, that's a different. Those days, but Ravana was like that. So this kind of a thing, if we do it, so much of advice, so much of people, and it's bad company. Bad company. Ministers are all, they're all demonish people, demonic character. What is they? They give all praises for Ravana. They did not talk about the negative part of it. Then what here? When Rama came here, you know what is it? In a war, you should know the weakness of the enemy and strength of the enemy. That you are just. If you do not know the weakness of the enemy, you are not sure of winning the art. So similarly here, Rama wanted to know. Tell me about Ravana's day-to-day work. Day-to-day work. So day-to-day work. That's why when I forgot to tell you, when you talk seashore, you must have seen Rameswaram. Rameswaram, where Lord Shiva is there. That where Rama praises Rameswaram. Rama constructed that Shiva temple, Shiva, and praise is there for Shiva. Praise means how? Why should Rama is a Vishnu? Why should he praise for Shiva there? The question comes in. If chief minister is there, I am a good friend of chief minister. He likes me very much, and whatever I do, he accepts. So that is the difference. That is the difference between myself and chief minister. At that time, so I carried somebody's wife, another state, brings back here. So that man, he did not fight with me. He directly went to the minister, chief minister. Sir, you are great. Your devotees also should be great. But your devotee did like this. What to do? You advise me to fight? What to do? What to do? Then here you give assurance that you will take care of him. Now what are you going to do? So chief minister was in dilemma. What happens? The chief minister says, "See, I'm going abroad next week for about 20 days. I won't come back here. During that time, you will arrest him and take him, do whatever you want. Because I was not there. I will not be there." Similarly, Parvasiva prays. Shiva advises Rama. The Atmalingam I gave to him. You see that he does not do any puja. So you please go. So that means treaty. The strength of the army has to come down. Strength of the Ravana has to come down because of Shiva. See how they tracked the business treaty, sorry, war treaty. Rama did it in those days. That's why Rameswaram. Why Rama praise? This is our duty. So he said, you do not come to rescue of Shiva when I am fighting with Ravana. He said, yes. See that he does not complete his job, puja. He does not give any harati to me and go away. That's what I am telling you. Rama says, okay, we'll take care of it. So now we know the weakness of Ravana. So that is the reason why in every war, in everything, even in business also, when you're doing with business, you must know the weakness of the other point. Then only you get this. For example, this water project, first water project in 1990 in Anantapur district, I was given in charge to purchase of all the materials. The purchase is worth about 150 crores. So I was in charge of purchase of 150 crores. Chakravarti was in charge of the administration there in Puttaparthi. I was in Chennai. And then he used to give me, so these are the items you want A, B, C, D, and this is the maximum rate we can go up to this. This is how he gives. Based on that, I have to work asbestos pipes. Asbestos pipes manufactured of so many people. Ramco, that is Arjun Raja was our trust convener in those days. I was the state president. And Arjun Raja is the executive director of the Ramco company. That company manufactures asbestos pipes. So he said, he sent his president to talk to me. President, he talked to me. He gave one, this is the price we can give, maximum we can give, we can reduce the price. Reduce. He said, I'm not happy. So I went to ED director, Arjun Raja. He also further reduced, this is the maximum we can give, maximum reduction we can give. No, I'm not happy. So I went to the chairman. And the chairman, so he was talking to see, my president has given some reduction, or Raju Raj has given reduction, are not happy. Forget about that. I'm telling you, now your factory is closed. How much you are lost per month? You are losing, say, for example, you are losing 10 lakhs or 20 lakhs per month. You are paying salary every month, and for maintaining 10 to 20 lakhs a month, you are losing. Now, if I give an order, you are going to manufacture. So that means your 20 lakhs of rupees is there, you can wipe off that loss. So now you give your quotation in such a way that you earn 20 lakhs of rupees to wipe off your loss, not more than that. So you were checking that. So the chairman was stunned. You were able to go to that deep level. Yes, it is Swami's work. It's not my work. Swami's work. Swami gives you all these ideas. If you keep Swami in your heart, Swami gives all these ideas. So this is what we should do. Then he started working. Then what is the power? Where are you buying these asbestos fibers? We are buying from South America. Why South Africa it is there. Why do you buy South America? Price is more. Why did you buy from South Africa? South Africa price is cheaper. When you're working for cost of production, you take the price of South Africa's price. So this is how I worked out. We must go into the detail, every detail you must go. Similarly, Rama wanted to go every detail. Because I did everything and we purchased about 150 crores worth of pipes and those, that's a different issue. Why I'm telling you, when you take God's work, you should don't think that you are doing big work. You are only a servant. You are only a servant. What is it that they can do for Swami? What is it? Swami has given opportunity to serve him. Keep that in mind. And these people don't know we wanted to give, but we don't know when everyone wanted to give me a good advice, good response, good food. All those is not necessary. I am only a servant of the Lord. I want to buy. So we argued. We brought out a rate, and we bought them nearly about 8 to 90 crores of asbestos pipes from Ramco. We bought also from other pits also, other things also. Like why I'm telling you, you should take when you take up your job for God, you should go into 100% detail. 100% detail you must go. Don't think for you may do some mistakes. It's okay, but this is God's work. So in this year, Subhakrut, every work that you are going to do, consider that as God's work. So think it over, then use your power of discrimination. You have the unity power of thought, word, and deed. And G, everything is going to God. God is with me, is watching me, is in me. Then A, as you row, as you sip, therefore I cannot do bad act. I must do a good act. To do bad act, I get bad results. So I must do this thing. Dedicate D, dedicate all my work what I do for Lord, and I should not have any ego whatsoever. Follow these, and we'll certainly gain this year. All our sins will be washed away if you follow these things. So Sai Ram to you. Now where is Swarup? Swarup.
Yes, Uncle. Sairam.
Now 9:48.
Yes, Uncle.
Okay.
Yes, okay.
Any questions?
No, Uncle, not for today.
No questions.
Yes, Uncle.
Varda? Varda is not listening. Okay. Varda is closed. Okay. So shall I proceed with Sai Ram to you?
Yes, Uncle.
Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. So Sai Ram to all of you.
Sairam.
Sairam,